They said 100 doctors tried, and all failed. The mafia boss's only son was dying, every breath weaker than the last. Money couldn't save him. Power couldn't buy him life. And then, when everyone gave up, a girl no one even looked at twice walked in, the cleaning lady's daughter. She didn't have a degree. She didn't have fame. But she had something no one else did, a heart that refused to give up. What she did next shocked the entire underworld. This is how a black genius girl saved the son of the most feared mafia boss and changed both their lives forever. Red Heart, before we begin, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, Gentle Words, where every story touches your heart and changes how you see the world. Red Heart. The hospital hallways smelled of cold metal and hopelessness. Guards in black suits lined the corridor, their faces stone hard, their hands resting on hidden guns. Inside the glass room, the son of the most feared mafia boss in the city, Antonio Ricci Jr., lay still, pale as a ghost. Machines beeped weakly beside him, the rhythm of a fading life. For weeks, every top doctor from around the world had come and gone. They all said the same words. "We're sorry. There's nothing more we can do." Each time, those words made something dark twist deeper inside his father, Don Ricci. The man who ruled the streets, who could make cities kneel with one phone call, stood helpless watching his only child fade away. Money couldn't buy miracles. Power couldn't threaten death to stop. And for the first time, the mafia boss, the man who'd feared nothing, was afraid. Then came her, a soft voice in a quiet hallway. "Excuse me, sir." The head nurse turned. It was just the cleaning lady's daughter, standing there in her simple blue uniform, holding a mop and a bucket. "You're not supposed to be here, Alina," the nurse whispered sharply. "This area is restricted." But the girl didn't move. Her dark brown eyes were fixed on the room where Antonio Jr. lay. "Please," she said gently, "I think I can help him." The nurse blinked, then scoffed. "Help him? Girl, you clean floors, you don't heal dying boys." But Alina didn't back down. "I've seen his reports," she said quietly, "and I heard the doctors. They're treating the wrong thing." Before the nurse could push her away, a deep voice thundered from the room. "What's going on out there?" Everyone froze. Don Ricci himself stepped out, tall and terrifying, his black coat brushing the floor. His eyes, the color of steel, landed on Alina. The nurse stammered, "Es, sir, this girl. She's just a cleaner." "Let her speak," he ordered. The hall fell silent. The nurse swallowed hard and stepped aside. Alina took a breath. "Sir, I know I shouldn't be here, but I studied medicine before my mother got sick. I couldn't finish school. I had to work. But I read, I researched, and I think your son isn't dying for what they think he is." The Don's gaze hardened. 100 doctors said otherwise, and 100 doctors were wrong. Alina said softly but firmly. For a moment, no one dared breathe. This girl, the daughter of a cleaning lady, had just told one of the most dangerous men alive that every doctor he hired was wrong. "Prove it," he said finally. Alina's heart pounded. She stepped inside the room. The air was cold, machines humming, the boy's skin almost blue. She picked up the charts, her fingers trembling slightly. She whispered under her breath, reading, connecting signs others had missed, an old allergic reaction, traces of medication that didn't belong. Then suddenly, the news of Antonio's recovery spread like wildfire. In every dark corner of the city, men whispered that the Don's son had risen from death. Not because of science, not because of money, but because of a girl no one respected. The black genius daughter of a cleaning lady. Alina became a quiet legend overnight. But to her, nothing had changed. She still woke up early, tied her mother's headscarf, and went to the hospital with a small lunchbox. She didn't want fame, she wanted peace. But peace is a fragile thing, and in a world built on violence, it never lasts long. One evening, as Alina was leaving the hospital, she heard screeching tires outside. 2 cars blocked the exit. Men in black suits rushed toward her. Before she could react, a familiar voice boomed. "She's with me." It was Antonio, standing tall, alive, smiling. He walked to her, his eyes full of gratitude. "You shouldn't walk home alone anymore," he said softly. "My father owes you more than he can ever repay." Alina smiled faintly. I didn't do it for debt or power, Antonio. I did it because every life deserves a chance, even yours. That line hit him deeply. No one had ever spoken to him that way. Without fear, without favor. From that night on, he visited her often. They walked through the hospital gardens, talked about life beyond money, beyond bloodlines. Antonio began to see the world the way she did. Not through power, but through purpose. But one morning, everything shattered. Don Ricci was attacked. A rival gang, furious at his newfound kindness, ambushed him outside his estate. The sky filled with bullets and screams. The man who had once ruled the streets now lay in his own blood. When the news reached the hospital, Alina dropped everything. Her heart pounded as she ran through the rain, through the chaos, until she reached the mansion gates. Guard tried to stop her, but Antonio shouted from inside, "Let her through. Please, let her in." Inside, the scene was chaos. Doctors surrounded the Don, shouting orders. "He's losing too much blood. We can't find a pulse. We're losing him." Antonio was frozen, tears streaming down his face. "Not again. I can't lose him again." Alina stepped forward, her voice cutting through the panic. "Move. Let me see him." The head surgeon turned angrily. "You again? You're not. Do you want to save him or argue?" she snapped. Her voice carried such force that even the doctor went silent. She knelt beside the Don, her trembling hands pressing against his wound. "Stay with me," she whispered. "You've come too far to stop here." Antonio knelt beside her, holding his father's cold hand. "Please, Alina, please don't let him go." She didn't answer. She just worked, fast, precise, her mind racing through everything she knew. She found the bleeding artery, gave clear orders, stopped the hemorrhage, stabilized his heartbeat. Minutes felt like hours. The room was silent except for the ticking clock and the sound of her breath. Then suddenly, beep, 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 the heart monitor came alive. Antonio gasped. He's breathing." Alina closed her eyes, tears mixing with the sweat on her face. "He's safe now," she whispered. For the second time, she had brought the mafia boss back from the edge of death. When Don Ricci finally opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was her, the girl who had given him his son back, and now his own life. His voice was weak. Why do you keep saving me?" Alina smiled softly. "Because everyone deserves one more chance, even those the world calls monsters." The Don stared at her for a long moment. A man who had spent his life surrounded by power and fear finally felt something else, forgiveness. A week later, he called a meeting of all his men. The same hall that once echoed with plans of revenge now held something new, silence. He stood in front of them and said, "From this day forward, we end the blood. We build instead of destroy. My son was saved not by fear, but by kindness. If a cleaning lady's daughter can change the world, so can we." Some men wept. Some dropped their guns on the floor. That day, the mafia ended, not with war, but with a choice. Months passed. Don Ricci donated his fortune to build hospitals and schools. One of those hospitals bore a name carved in gold: the Alina Johnson Institute of Healing, where heart comes before hierarchy. On opening day, Alina stood beside Antonio as the Don cut the ribbon with shaking hands. He looked at her, eyes glistening. "You gave me a new life," he said. "Now I'll spend it giving others the same." Alina smiled, whispering, "Then my work is done." Later that evening, she visited her mother's grave under the old oak tree. The wind was soft, the sky painted with sunset gold. She knelt down and placed a white flower. "Mom," she whispered, her voice trembling, "you used to tell me, never let the world tell you your worth." Today, the world listened. We did it. Behind her, Antonio approached quietly. "You changed my family," he said. "You changed me." Alina turned, her eyes warm. "No, Antonio, you changed yourself. I just reminded you that light still exists." They stood together under the fading light, silent, two souls from different worlds, bound by one truth: that compassion is the most powerful weapon of all. As the camera fades, her voice echoes softly like a whisper carried by wind. "You don't need power to heal the world. Just heart. Red heart if this story moved you. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Gentle Words, where every story proves that humanity still lives in the darkest places. Red Heart.